Allah Imla, Alahai now Yahawa, Bashim Yahawa Shah, Mashiach, one Baki, Bashim Hawa, Takuras, Rakam, Wara Baba Bawa, Kwam Yashurala. Double honor to the apostles, and bishops of great millstone teachers daily. To the men out there teaching the lightwise doctrine in the city of Shalom. Today we're going to get into a video, and it's about the United States basically trying to punish the African nations for not accepting the brown people. Now, if that ain't a spoiled person right there, I mean, that's another reason why Esau is unfit to rule, because this dude, obviously he's unrighteous. Obviously he's wicked. But the things he do when he can't get his way, it's just childish, you know. That's why he's unfit to rule, because he's a child. This dude, the same dude that's been in his feelings over 2,000 years over us. See what I'm saying? That's a weak ass leader right there. Always in his feelings. And today I heard a video that these elites talking about some if you try to get in their way of being a god, they're gonna kill you. Man, it's almost laughable. These people are delusional. They just don't know that they are base men. They are base men because they're the only ones on the planet acting like this. Ain't nobody else trying to do all this stuff they're doing. They're doing too much because these are moves made out of desperation. And that statement that was made out of fear. See what I'm saying? If you don't let us be gods over you, we gonna kill you. Is that right? That still does not negate from your judgment. It doesn't matter what you do to us. Your ass still going into captivity for 1,000 years, and your ass still gonna be exterminated. So who really killing who? Stupid ass. Matter of fact, let's go and get into the video. Make you mad just by thinking about it. But it's cool though. All right, let's blow this up. The name of this video is U.S. Congress passed bill to punish African governments working with Russia. And that's one of the reasons why they are passing bills and sanctions, because they're working with Russia. And the other reason is they won't accept that sodomite shit over there. So let's go ahead and get into the video.
Peace, family. My name is Vicky Dillon, and so pleased to be a contributor here on African Diaspora News. Thank you so much for sharing the broadcast so that other folks will be tapped into this truth that we're spreading here on this international network. Thank you so very much. Family, I don't know how many of you all have been aware of this early on, to be honest, during this Russia-Ukraine conflict, this proxy war that the United States of America is definitely funding by and through Ukraine and through its undue influence in NATO, that the U.S. Congress, the House of Representatives, the lower Congress, passed a bill to punish African nations. Now, this act in the Senate after that particular time, 2021, a year later, just last year in 2022, thankfully, an African organization, which I'm going to talk about very briefly, pushed back on that. But I want to talk about this briefly because I'm staying on top of the implications and the progress of this bill passing, because obviously in the United States, after the House of Representatives passes a bill, then it goes on to the Senate, and from the Senate it's signed into law if it's properly passed by both houses. It's signed into law by the president. So I'm staying on top of the progress of this, but I wanted to know if you all were aware that this has been taking place in the United States. The Countering Malign Russian Activities in Africa Act, that's what it's called, being prepared in the U.S. Senate, which will, quote, direct the Secretary of State to develop and submit to Congress a strategy and implementation plan outlining the United States effort to counter the malign influence and activities of the Russian Federation and its proxies in Africa. Now, what I find interesting about this act that they include in this is that it says that the act will direct the United States government to, quote, regularly assess the scale and scope of the Russian Federation's influence and activities in Africa that undermine the United States objectives and interests, and determine how to address and counter such influence and activities effectively, including through appropriate United States foreign assistance programs, and hold accountable the Russian Federation and African governments and their officials who are complicit in aiding in such malign influence and activities.
So basically, what's basically going on is the United States is all butthurt that the African nations are doing business with Russia. So they pulled out an ink pen and a piece of paper and wrote down some shit along the lines of, we don't like it, so we gonna put sanctions on you. Stuff like that. You know, that shows you how weak America is, man. Y'all looking real stupid. And another thing is they having a meeting with all the BRICS nations are having a meeting right now. I don't know if it's still going on today. I know it was going on the last 2 days. But the United States was not invited. They were not invited. You got the United States basically standing in the sugar bushes looking through the window. They used to be the top dog. Now they ain't even invited. And that takes me to the book of Obadiah, chapter 1. And this is the book of Obadiah, chapter 1, verse 2. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art great and despised. But I want to deal with your ass because they know everything you come with, everything you say, everything you do is laced with wickedness. And down the part says, first you mad at the African nations for not accepting the proud people. Now you're mad at them, not because they're dealing with Russia, because that's not the reason. The reason they really want to punish these African nations is because they're not doing business with the United States. See that jealous-hearted spirit, that's Esau. Motherfucker always standing in his feelings. Let's go.
It also, watch this part, this is very important. It also directs the Secretary of State to, quote, develop and submit to the appropriate congressional committees a strategy and implementation plan outlining United States efforts to counter the malign influence and activities of the Russian Federation and its proxies in Africa. And that they're supposed to do that no later than 90 days after the date of that. Now, sometime a few months ago, at the time that you're viewing this year, because of this act that had already passed through the House of Representatives and moving its way through the Senate to progress, the SADC, which is the Southern African Development Community, shout out to them, they oppose the United States bill that countering malign Russian activities in Africa. It says that there are a 16-member group. The SADC is a 16-member group, chastise efforts by U.S. lawmakers to, quote unquote, punish African countries who try to help Russia bypass sanctions and restrictions imposed over its invasion of Ukraine. It goes on to talk a little bit more detail about this rejection and imposition of punishment by the United States against the African continent. It says the summit adopted the draft African Union Declaration on the USA proposed countering malign Russian activities in Africa Act and urged member states to communicate SADC's position and reaffirm the stance of non-alignment on conflicts outside the continent.
You know what? I really think now I know why. I really thought about it just now. The United States is mad because of 3 reasons. I already named the first 2. The first 2 are because they want to accept the proud people, and number 2, they're doing business with Russia. But the third reason it really is because the African nations will not allow the United States to build a pipeline through their continent, through their land. Because see, they were trying to build a pipeline to go to Europe to make that Nord Stream pipeline money. But they went banking on the African nation saying, no, you're not doing that here. So Esau, being the little bitch he is, he gonna pull out a piece of paper and ink pen, and he gonna give himself permission to fuck with people. He gonna give himself permission to say you guilty of something that he made up. You cannot tell people who they can and can't do business with. That is not your business. Now you see why the earth is going to rejoice when these delusional idiots go into chains. How the hell you going to try to tell somebody who they can and can't do business with? Mad because they ain't doing business with you. You're a fucking child, Esau.
And the region at the multilateral forum. Now, family, it's very disturbing because this has been kept quiet in mainstream news that this took place pretty early on in the conflict. So they knew Africa was not, many of the states in Africa were unwilling to jump in and get in the middle of this Russia-Ukraine conflict. So because of that, the United States does what she unfortunately does too often, and that is try to bully countries and pass an actual actor in the United States to, in essence, punish them if they didn't take a particular stance and if they chose to work with Russia. And this, to me, seems to indicate that they are allowed to basically spy and to watch what's going on there. I reported.
See, they wrote in that little piece of paper that we gonna spy on you because we want to see what you and Russia are doing. That's some little boy shit. That's some hoe shit. That's some Edomite shit. That's what it is. Sirach chapter 14, verse 7, and if he do it good, he do it unwillingly. And at the last he would declare his wickedness. That's why it says in Sirach chapter 12, verse 10, don't trust thine enemy. Because that little bitch in him, you never know when it's gonna surface. See what I'm saying? Now let's go. Let me see what scripture I'm gonna bring up. Yeah, that's basically why all these other nations gonna bomb this bitch. And then you got over 40 nations applying to join the BRICS. So the United States is gonna have one hell of a war in it. Well, not in because it's gonna be over real quick in 1 hour. Thus says the Lord, thus says the Bible. But that explains further why there is a low enlistment rate in the United States military, because that's suicide joining the military these days. All these wars the Edomites are getting themselves into, and ain't got nobody to fight the wars. You know what? I say this. All these politicians talking shit starting these wars about lying and all this wickedness they doing. Give them a rifle and give them some boots. And tell them to go fight Russia. Tell them to go fight China. These punks ain't gonna do it because they bitch. All they do is talk. Put a gun in their hand. You take your ass over there and fight. Let's go.
Some months back here on the network that one of our ambassadors had to apologize for inappropriately accusing them of working with Russia or supplying them with weapons. That's what it was. Found out that there was no substantial evidence or substantive evidence that would justify the a black U.S. ambassador making that allegation. But once again,
see, lying on people, false accusing. And even if it was true, and what? It ain't your business, Esau. And what? This man got a piece of paper and wrote that he giving himself permission to spy. And that little piece of paper is supposed to be honored by the other nation. Man, get the fuck out of here, man. Esau, you stupid as hell, man. You delusional, man. And that's why the earth gonna rejoice when you go into change. Because we tired of your delusion, man. The whole planet is. Psalm chapter 55, verse 20. He hath put forth his hand against such as be at peace with him. He has broken his covenant. That's all he do. Get in his feelings and break covenants. James chapter 1, verse 8. The double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. You can't trust shit Esau says or does. If you do, you will pay for it. Because what the scripture say we just read, Sirach chapter 14, verse 7. And if he do it good, he do it unwillingly. And at the last, he will declare his wickedness. Don't trust this fool. Edomites don't even trust Edomites. Proverbs chapter 29, verse 12. If a ruler hearkens the lies, all his servants are wicked. That's every politician in the United States government. Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 16. Woe to thee, O land, when thy king is a child. This man getting his feelings and break covenants, break treaties, break agreements. That's why nobody want to fuck with him right now, ever. That's why people, the other nations are withdrawing from doing business with him, being on his team, because they know he ain't shit. This man is reckless, childish, spoiled, entitled, delusional. Who want to do business with somebody like that? Somebody to cut your back out at any given moment whenever he getting his feelings. He thought you always been a bitch since Genesis, homie. Let's go.
Again, that has not made mainstream news, which is why, thank God for such platforms and networks like the African Diaspora News Channel and the Vicky Show here. Talk Black to Me, somebody. We're going to, of course, stay on top of this, the progress of this and the fallout of this. But I wasn't sure if the family was aware that this had even been taking place over the past couple of years or so, and the fact that we would even dare do such a thing. How can we show respect to other countries when we bully them, when we don't take on, when folks that we consider to be an enemy, if the other countries don't see them to be an enemy and treat them accordingly, we turn around and impose punitive actions against them. And
that's Esau, the man of no integrity. This man don't even know what respect is. You can't expect him to be righteous, respectful. That's not Esau's MO. That's not what he was created to be. But see, y'all set yourself up for destruction when you expect the wicked to be righteous. It's not going to happen. That's going against the program. Sirach chapter 27, verse 24. I have hated many things, but nothing like him. For the Lord Yahweh will hate him. Now, if the Lord hates him, where the hell you Christians get this notion, love, love, love? Where y'all get that from? Y'all got it from Esau. Job chapter 15, verse 35. They conceive mischief and bring forth vanity, and that belly prepared with mischief. That mischief that's being prepared is all these little laws that they just write. They just pull out a piece of paper and a pen, and they expect the whole world to honor them. Let's get your face back down. So,
in my opinion, that's an absolute no. My name is Vicky Dillon. Of course, we're going to stay on top of this. Be sure to join my school at clubvicky.com, my metaphysical school. Your life will never be the same. Be sure to share this broadcast here.
I don't know. Sisters, y'all better be careful. I mean, this is one of those channels where how the elders say, you chew the meat and spit out the bones, you know. Because I don't know, she hinting on some witchcraft. I don't know for sure. I don't know. But, just be careful. But she does provide good content and good information about what's going on with the African nations and Russia, China. They keep their eye on the world stage as well. So, just be cautious, chew the meat, spit out the bones. We're going to come out of here. All right. Yeah, that's why these other nations going to turn on the United States, because they will not sit their ass down. They will not stop just poking their nose in other people's affairs. Who them people on the other side of the planet You ain't got nothing to do with who they do business with, man. You can't run nothing. You can't run your own country. You're running your own country into the ground on purpose. But yet you try to tell them how to run nations. Dude, you're one of the biggest hypocrites I have ever seen. The world has ever seen. Now let's go to Jeremiah. Let's get some prophecies of what this all gonna lead up to. All these nations gonna destroy Babylon. Because Esau won't see this punk ass down. This is Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 9. For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array. Array means battle formation. Against her, from thence she shall be taken. The arrow shall be as of a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain. Let's keep going. Let's go down to this is Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 25. The Lord hath opened his armory and have brought forth the weapons of his indignation. Indignation means righteous hatred towards Esau. For this is the work of the Lord Yahweh of hosts in the land of the Chaldees. The Chaldees were Edomites. That's what he's talking about in the scripture. Let's go to 14. Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 14. Put yourself in array against Babylon round about. All ye that bend the bow, shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she have sinned against the Lord. Yeah, they're gonna bomb this bitch. That's what's gonna happen. Let's go to Malachi. It's gonna be a short video. I just wanted to bring it out because, like she said in the video, we don't know if the whole world is on with what the United States is doing because they're keeping it out of mainstream media on purpose. Go to Isaiah. Chapter 34. Verse 2. And we're going to read down to verse 4, 5. Verse 2. For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He hath utterly destroyed them. He hath delivered them to the slaughter. This is a future prophecy. Battle of Jehoshaphat. Armageddon. Verse 3. Their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood. Verse 4. And all of the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. That's a nuclear weapon detonated. That mushroom cloud, yeah. Right before the shock wave, the fervent heat, 2,000 plus degrees, concrete melting, steel melting, everything melting, including the 2/3 in these heathens and these Edomites. And the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their hosts shall fall down as the leaf falleth off from the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. Verse 5. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. That's the missiles going up in the orbit, going up the terminal velocity. It shall come down upon Idumea, Idumea is Greek for Edom. And upon the people of my curse, two judgments. Edomites. Now let's go to Proverbs chapter 16. Yeah, that's just type of dude Esau is. And if anything, he's showing how weak he really is. One thing for sure, the strong don't respect weakness. Mm-mm. And you showing your weakness by getting out on your feelings and emotions because don't nobody want to deal with you. And it's like it said in Obadiah chapter 1, verse 2. Yeah, made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. Look at what you do, man. Can't trust shit you say, can't trust shit you do. You leave these nations no other choice. If they smart, they'll stay the hell away from you. And that seems that's what they do. Proverbs chapter 16, verse 4. The Lord hath made all things for himself, yea, even the wicked for the day of evil. Verse 5. Everyone that is proud in heart is an abomination to the Lord Yahweh. Though joined hand in hand, he shall not be unpunished. Let's get Zechariah chapter 14, and we're going to go down to verse 11. It's like, okay, this is Zechariah chapter 14, verse 11. And we're going to read on down to 3:12. And men shall dwell in it, and there shall be no more utter destruction, but Jerusalem shall be safely inhabited. It's talking about the people, the Israelites. Verse 12. And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet. That's that nuclear lake of fire. And their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. That nuclear lake of fire. Let's go to the book of Habakkuk. I'm just reading prophecy on what's going to happen if America keep fucking with these nations. They're just going to make a speedy riddance of you. Thus saith the Bible, thus saith the Lord. And that's prophecy. It ain't no might in it. It's going to happen. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 9. Woe to him that covetous and evil covetousness to his house. And what did the scripture say? There's nothing more wicked than a covetous man. Bill Gates, prime example. Let's start over. Woe to him that coveteth and evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. It says, woe, destruction. You ain't going nowhere, Esau. Okay, let's get go to Revelation. chapter 19. And we're going to go to we start at 1. And after these things, I heard a great voice of much people in heaven saying, Hallelujah, salvation and glory and honor and power unto the Lord Yahweh Shai, our power. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, our power. Verse 2. For true and righteous are his judgments, for he have judged the great whore, America, which did corrupt the earth with her fornication, and have avenged the blood of his servants at her hand. Verse 3. And again they said, Hallelujah, which is supposed to be Hallelujah. And her smoke rose up forever and ever. Yeah, this bitch gonna burn, man. Now let's go to Revelation 18. Revelation 18, verse 9. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. America. Verse 10. Standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment to come. It's only going to take 1 hour for these nuclear missiles to destroy this bitch. Verse 11. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. Verse 12. The merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones, and of pearls and fine linen, and purple, and silk, and scarlet, and all thyine wood, and all manner vessels of ivory, and all manner vessels of most precious wood, and of brass and iron and marble. And they're just going on about how, hold up, let's go to 13. And cinnamon, and odors, and ointments, and frankincense, and wine, and oil, and fine flour, and wheat, and beasts, and sheep, and horses, and chariots, and slaves, and souls of men. That's why this country's gonna be destroyed, because of the theft of all of that. And then they ain't gonna be able to sell no more. They ain't gonna be able to do buying and selling with these other nations no more. Verse 14. And the lust that thy soul, and the fruits that thy soul lusted after are departed from thee, and all things which were dainty and goodly are departed from thee, and thou shalt not find them no more at all. So yeah, the Lord can strip the United States of everything. Verse 15, the merchants of these things which were made rich by her shall stand afar off for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing. Verse 16, and saying, Alas, alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet, decked with golds and precious stones and pearls. Verse 17, for in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught. 1 hour. And every shipmaster and all the company of ships and sailors and as many trade by sea stood far. Verse 18, and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, What city is like unto this great city? Our state's gonna be destroyed, homie. And based on the bullshit they do, you don't feel sorry for the United States. You don't feel sorry for these Edomites. Look at the shit they do. That's why ain't nobody gonna shed not one tear when the Lord rounds you all up and exterminates you. Look at the shit you do. I'm sure, pretty sure it's Edomites out there that don't even want to deal with Edomites. Why? Look at the shit you do. And then you want to try to play the victim every time. People don't acknowledge your supremacy, your privilege. You want to play the victim. Sad. Just a sad individual. Go to Isaiah. It's bad, dude. You expect somebody to feel sorry for you. Please. Isaiah chapter 34, verse 8. For this is the day of the Lord's vengeance, and the year of recompense for the controversy of Zion. The Lord going to destroy this country because of what you did to us. Let's go to Zechariah chapter 14. Oh, we already did that. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 51. And this is verse 1. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me a destroying wind. That's that shock wave when a nuclear weapon detonates. Verse 2, and will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her and shall empty her land. For in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. Verse 3, against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow, and against him that lifted himself up in his brigandine, and spare ye not her young men, destroy ye utterly all her hopes. So yeah, a lot of people gonna die. Billions of people got to die because of what Esau Edom done this, and how he has just messed over every nation almost on this planet. And so when all these other nations gang up and bomb this place, at least you'll know why. Or you can also blame the leaders because if you're Edomite, you're going into captivity if you survive. So you can thank them too for destroying your kingdom, and based on their actions, their words, now you got to go into captivity. Well, it ain't because of them, it's because of you. Because of back in the day, in the reincarnation, you was here, you own slaves probably. So that holds no more weight. I didn't own any slaves, yes you did. And you're one of your past lives. If you get punished, 9 times out of 10, you getting punished for something. It's like the scripture said, whoever perished being innocent, or whoever the righteous ever cut off. Roughly paraphrasing the scripture. Nobody's innocent. So yeah. These people, I mean, let's get a few more. It's one more. A few more here. Here we go. This is the book of Daniel, chapter 8, verse 25. And through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand. See, that little pen, remember we kept talking about that ink pen, that piece of paper? And he write himself permission to do shit. Yeah. Jeremiah chapter 49, verse 10. But I have made Esau bare, I have uncovered his secret places, and he should not be able to hide himself. He is spoiled, and his brother, and his neighbor, and he is not. Because he the one doing the spoiling. Spoil means to rob. Luke chapter 8, verse 17. This is the red letter, so this is Yahushua speaking. For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad. All your dirty laundry is being aired out, all your secrets, all your true characteristics are now on display on the world stage. Because everybody's looking at you with the good eye. Isaiah chapter 26, verse 10. Let favor be shown to the wicked, yet will he not learn righteousness. In the land of uprightness will he deal unjustly, and will not behold the majesty of the Lord. Jeremiah chapter 49, verse 7, concerning Edom, thus saith the Lord of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel vanished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? The answer is yes. That was a rhetorical question, but the answer is yes. Because they looking stupid on the world stage. Psalm chapter 94, verse 20. Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by law? I'm finna write a law that I can mess over everybody on the planet. They can't do nothing. That's what Esau does. And the whole planet tired of it. The whole planet. Isaiah chapter 29, verse 15. Woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord, and their works are in the dark, and they say, who seeth us and who knoweth us? Don't nobody care about you throwing a temper tantrum, because ain't nobody listening to you no more. Don't nobody care. Go cry, shit. And this is one of his tactics. Sirach chapter 13, verse 6. If he have need of thee, he will deceive thee, and smile upon thee, and put thee in hope. He will speak thee fair and say, what wantest thou? That's Esau. Talk them smooth, buttery lies, get you let your guard down just so we can mess over you. And won't be sorry about it. That's why ain't no other nation ain't dealing with you, because they see you have no remorse, no compassion, no remorse, unsorrowful, no integrity. With you lacking all these traits, that means you are capable of doing anything. You are unpredictable. That makes you dangerous, reckless. Ain't nobody gonna trust the people of that nation to a monster, unpredictable monster like you, E. That's why the Lord gonna get rid of you eventually after you do your time. Look how you doing your own, the people in your own country. You think these people gonna listen to you? Your talk don't match your walk, homie. The math ain't mathing. Book of Nahum, we get these, we can close. Chapter 3, verse 4. Because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcraft, that selleth nations through her whoredoms and families through her witchcraft. Verse 5. Behold, I am against thee, saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame. Verse 6. And I will cast abominable filth upon thee, and make thee vile, and will set thee as a gazing stock. Is that not what happened now? Isaiah chapter 47, verse 1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon, sit on the ground, there is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldees, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Ain't nobody respecting your ass no more. Putting no speck on your name. Now you in your feelings. Now let's go to Lamentation. I know I said it was on the end. Let's get these. Lamentation chapter 4, verse 21. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellest in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken and shalt make thyself naked. Naked means the Lord is exposing your true colors to everybody on the planet. Verse 22. The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. He will no more carry thee away into captivity. He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sin. It's like we always say, our punishment almost over. But Esau, yours is about to begin. This is the beginning of your demise. 2 Ezra chapter 8, verse 50. For many great miseries shall be done to them in the latter time, shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride. That's Esau all day. Proverbs chapter 14, verse 17. He that is soon angry dealeth foolishly, and a man of wicked devices is hated. We can end on that one right there. That describes Esau. I don't know. Sirach, chapter 14, verse 8. The envious man hath a wicked eye. He turneth away his face and despises men. That's him. Always smiling in your face, but plotting behind your back. Verse 9. The covetous man's eye is not satisfied with his portion, and the iniquity of the wicked drieth up his soul. And that's what's being shown. Everything and enough of Esau. He has an insatiable greed. He can have everything in the world. Just plain enough. Matter of fact, we can end on this one. Proverbs chapter 29, verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. And that's going to come out more and more and more as this year progresses, because Esau is going to wax worse and worse. Sirach chapter 12, verse 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like his iron rusted, so is his wickedness. He going to get worse and worse until this war pop off and the Lord going to have to come down and just gonna slap the chains on his crazy ass, because he's the delusional, reckless, childish, effeminate base man. Call all you loud height now your house. By Shim Yahweh Shai Mashiach wa Malak. By Shim Harak Kakurash Rock Thumb. Water Bab Ball Kwam Yak